Hey, so finally I am getting round to doing my video about my trip to London. It's been a while. So, I'm an actress, and just before Christmas I'd finished my tour and I'd done a panto, and then my next tour isn't going to be starting until mid-February, which now isn't that long away. But after Christmas, after my parents went back to work and so on, I got extremely bored. So my cousin Gwennan was back for Christmas, and she studies in London, and she offered for me to go back with her to London for a bit. So we took the bus to London, and it took about 7-8 hours to get there. Gwennan was obviously going back to uni, so she had her massive suitcase that I'm telling you could fit like 2 grown men in it. We go to the tube, and most of the tube stations don't have a lift, so poor Gwennan had to haul this massive suitcase up and down the stairs, and much to my surprise, a lot of people offered to help. I don't know if this is me being a really bad person and stereotyping, but typically when you think of London, you think of people who have their heads stuck in their phones and they have their headphones in and they're just in their own little world, not really taking notice of what's going on around them. But this really surprised me because a lot of people offered to help Gwennan. And Gwennan, being a person who's lived in London for over a year now, she also said that she was very surprised that so many people were offering to help her. This was a really nice thing to arrive to London. So we eventually got to Gwennan's house in East London. Her house is pokey. Bless her, I literally took over her bedroom, which you can see here. I took over her bedroom with all my stuff. So on the Tuesday, we'd planned that we were going to go to Madame Tussauds, but due to misunderstanding with tickets and so on, we went to the Natural History Museum. Now, I've always wanted to go to the Natural History Museum. Is it because it was on night at the museum? I'm not going to deny that. So anyway, we went and I was really excited. The dinosaur place is really cool. So we're walking towards the dinosaur place and it was shut. I was so gutted. So we walk along and we look at different places, and then we get to the mammal place, which has got the massive whale skeleton or whatever it is. And it was shut. So apparently they're moving this whale skeleton to the entrance. I wanted to go in that section. So unfortunately for me, 2 of the sections which I was mostly looking forward to seeing was shut. But that's fine, I can go back sometime again and hopefully they'll be open then. On the Wednesday, me, Gwennan and Sonia went to London Dungeons. I was a bit nervous going to London Dungeons, so we went and it was really, really fun. It was a real good laugh. I literally hung on to Gwennan and Sonia for most of it. I didn't scream, I shouted no a lot, I shouted no thank you a lot, and I also shouted not today a lot, which I guess is better than screaming? I don't know. I'd highly recommend going to the London Dungeons if you're in London. It's such a good laugh. So on the Wednesday afternoon, me and Gwennan went to Madame Tussauds. So I have always wanted to go to Madame Tussauds. It's such a cool thing. Going there, I thought the wax mannequins are going to be really crap. They're not going to look really anything like the famous people. But how wrong was I? So we went there, and I was a bit creeped out to start off with because you're kind of just expecting these mannequins to come alive. It was surreal. I genuinely thought I was touching Colin Firth. So for people who know me, they probably know that I'm not really normal. And when I'm put in situations like this, I don't do the typical thing that other people do. So I was looking around, and most people are having a nice picture with these famous people. And most of my photos are me being a bit silly next to people. For example, in London Madame Tussauds, there is a Spiderman waxwork. And this Spiderman waxwork is sort of crouched on the ground, but when you flip the picture around, it's the roof. So everybody was like having photos of them posing behind Spiderman as if they were doing the same pose as him or next to him. I decided to take myself and slide myself under Spiderman. So there is this photo of Spiderman and me underneath Spiderman. It took me 2 attempts to get this photo. This is it. So I had a really, really good time in Madame Tussauds. I would definitely go back there again. I mean, I'd go back tomorrow. On the Thursday, Gwennan was back in placement, so I was pretty much free to do whatever I wanted to do. I went shopping to Queen Street, and I did a lot of shopping. So if you go over to Sonia's channel, I'll leave a link in the description or here. You can see her whole video, which I talk about most of my new things. So on Friday, we went to Harrods. I bought a few things in Harrods. And then we went to Covent Garden. And I went to Mac, and Story time. I wanted to go to MAC to buy a new dark lipstick because I had previously been to buy a MAC lipstick, a darker shade to my other MAC lipsticks I have. And somewhere in my house, I have lost this lipstick. So one of the things I said was, when I get to London, I am going to buy a new MAC lipstick. That was the one thing I said I was going to buy in London. When we were doing the haul video with Sonia, somewhere along the way, I misplaced my MAC lipstick. And it's kind of ironic because I've lost the MAC lipstick I bought to replace the other one I lost. At the end of Friday, me and Gwennan went to Five Guys. I've never had a Five Guys before, and this was incredible. The amount of fries you get is just ridiculous. No one needs that amount of fries. So on the Saturday, Gwennan and Sonia wanted to do a bit of shopping, so I went along, did some more shopping, because you can never do too much shopping. One thing I needed was a backpack, because I'd only travelled with a handbag and my suitcase. But because I'd bought so much things, I needed more storage. So I went and bought a new big backpack, and it was huge. Gwennan and Sonia said at the beginning of the week that they wanted to go to Forbidden Planet, which is like a big comic store. It was heaving there. There were so many people. It's such a small store, and I had my massive bag and I just wanted to leave. Downstairs was just loads of comic books. So if you're in London and you want to go to a comic store, Forbidden Planet is quite an epic comic store. And then after we eventually left the comic store, we went to the diner. Such good food in the diner. So on the Sunday, it was kind of just a chill day. Me and Sonia did a lot of filming on the Sunday. In fact, we did a lot of filming over the whole week. Me and Gwennan did the Chubby Bunny Challenge, and there'll be a link here. And we also did some other fun challenge videos, which will be coming up soon on my channel and on Sonia's channel. So on the Monday, it was time for me to go. It was my last day. I found my way back to the bus station fine, and I just couldn't wait to get on the bus, really. I did some editing on the bus. And then coming into Aberystwyth, when my parents were picking me up, and Mum was like, "Oh, I've forgotten that you were coming home today." And I was like, not sure if she was messing about or not, because I knew she knew I was coming home that day because I texted her saying that I was on the bus. And I wasn't feeling very well on the bus. I felt really, really ill. So on one hand, I was kind of like, I just want to go home. I hope she hasn't forgotten. And then on the other hand, I was just like, that's fine, because I can have a nice half an hour just with fresh air. But no, turns out my parents were there. They came, picked me up, took me home, and that's my London travel. So I hope I haven't bored you too much with my London story. Hit subscribe to see more videos from me. There's more challenge videos coming up. I've had a few people requesting some challenge videos. Go ahead and put a comment down below if you want me to do any challenge videos, and I will quite happily do them. Thanks for coming over and watching. Diolch.